comes a new challenger.
Then I'm back again, back on my feet after I fell down. Always ready for a fight, never back down. At this point, I'm fighting for pride, I'm fighting for life. Reputation on the line.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Gentleman's Gaming Club. Today, we are delving into the world of street fighting.
Like Michael McDonald said, we're taking it to the streets with our fights. I'm gonna punch you in the face. I'm gonna whirly bird you, taking it to the streets. That's what this game is. It is a whirlwind from all around the world. You're putting your dukes up and fighting people.
It's so much fun. But we're not talking about normal Street Fighter. No. Today, we're talking about Street Fighter Story Mode.
It's an actual thing. The entire time I was playing it, I kept thinking, this is so much better than Deadly Premonition 2. The city just works. There's things to do. It's wonderful. Very food-based.
I never once thought I would be doing any of this with you saying, glad we played that Story Mode Street Fighter.
It's so fun. There's so much there under the hood. When you have a game that's actually good and playable, you're allowed to have a fun, silly mode. I enjoyed story mode so much. I can't wait for you all to see what we did.
I did a lot.
Yeah, you ran around?
Took a lot of photos.
Yeah.
Mostly of me and my girlfriend. And then, I beat up some guys and I guess saved the day?
Yeah, did we save the day or not? Who knows? It's a journey of one, bettering ourselves, strengthening our minds and our muscles while we're fighting in the streets.
Because the question you have to ask yourself is, what is strength?
Yeah, it's an internal question. Ask yourself it right now. Shut up. Ask yourself.
Anyway, enough chatter. Let's get into it.
Hadouken!
Street Fighter 6.
They did it!
I can't believe
Capcom did it!
that there is a story mode. I can't believe that.
I feel like we always hear about game developers like, oh, we listened to what you said last time. And then the next game comes out and it's basically the same thing. 5 was missing all of these features and people said like, you should have a story mode like Mortal Kombat. You should have these things. They just gave it a little bit of effort and it's wonderful.
And it's not even on the same Mortal Kombat level, where Mortal Kombat's, I would say, below it.
Sure.
This is a whole other customizable adventure that is you being goofy in this world. It doesn't take itself seriously, just tongue-in-cheek, but at the same time, teaching you exactly how to play.
It's a Saturday morning cartoon that teaches you how to play Street Fighter 6. If you go through the story mode, you fight Alice a bunch of time, you fight the 2 bros that are with Alice and stuff like that. It is going to teach you to play the game. I have not played this game online. I have not done arcade mode. I just enjoyed the story mode so much.
I'm gonna let you know, arcade mode is exactly what you think it would be.
Yes.
Going online, getting matched up with someone who's just gonna spam something at you,
Great.
destroy you, and you're gonna hate yourself.
Right.
But this made me love Street Fighter in a way that before I enjoyed it as a spectator, as a fan, I've never been able to really wrap my mind around any sort of fighting game mechanics in a way that I'm going to sit there and I'm going to learn them. I'm going to learn the iframes, I'm going to learn the different moves, I'm going to learn when to do what and when. I just don't have the patience for it. And the people who do, I'm into all of them, which is why I love going to EVO and I love watching, FGC stuff, and I love to watch that vibe of the high level competition, because there's a lot of esports out there where if you watch, say, League of Legends, it's a thing that is straight up just 5 minutes of not real much happen, and then suddenly crazy stuff happens, and then it's over. You're like, what? All right, I guess they won. Street Fighter is like watching UFC or a boxing match. It is easy to follow. You don't have to be smart. You can see the health. You can see the moves, and when someone triggers a counter or someone does something cool, it's so obvious and so easy to get behind and hype. I love that. And so I'm in this world, but on the periphery. I would never claim to be any good at it. I don't claim to know everything.
You don't follow Kizzy K on Twitter? You're not up to date with all of the fighting game communities, the ins and the outs and the dramas?
No, I'm not. I'm just a Jay Wong fan. We follow each other. I love that man.
Yeah.
Right? But I understand now because of this so much more in a way that was presented that I can't even truly comprehend how making a pizza taught me basic combo mechanics.
We really have to hit that part hard because you hit the nail on the head with why this game is special. Because in fighting games, the thing you want to do is all the flashy moves. I want to throw Hadokens, I want to do fiery uppercuts. This story mode really got you to understand the normals of your character. And unlocking the teachers, you would then play with a different style. Now, for this playthrough, I really gravitated towards Luke's playstyle. His normals are fabulous. That jumping medium kick, that jumping heavy kick, the medium kick would cross up. They're making a fighting game feel like an action game or something like a God of War game. But instead of learning those mechanics, which you like, oh, okay, it's only for that weapon, you as the player are getting better. And Street Fighter 6 is overwhelming. If you look at the menu of the game and see everything that is there, it is overwhelming what you can do. There's multiple meters, there's special meters, it's overwhelming. But when I did it in the story mode, I felt like it held my hand. I kept waiting for more complexity. And when it gave it to me, the game also got harder, right? You can feel those moments when it's like, you should be good at this now.
And I think that's very smart of them because they didn't dump it all on you in the beginning. In the beginning, it's very slow and methodical how they just tell the story. Even the things you do, from going to get an outfit, to going to meet a new teacher, to going to fighting people on the street, to doing the quests, to, you know, talking to Alice and her bros and doing all that stuff. There is a thought process behind it that is like, we don't want to overwhelm new players, because truly that is who this is for.
Yep.
If you are a pro or you are a Street Fighter master, I'm gonna let you know, you might be a little bored doing this.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
The first, I'm gonna say 20 levels are baby's first Street Fighter.
Yeah.
I loved it because I learned things that I didn't know, and I thought I was like, oh, yeah, I get it. No. I learned so much.
There's all of these fighting game terms, right? There's these FGC terms and people get overwhelmed with it. Like, what are footsies? This game teaches you spacing matters, right? The hitboxes of moves, recognizing those patterns. The game instinctually teaches you that because it gives you the punish mechanic, right?
Yeah.
When a character blinks that way, it's training you, the player, to recognize these things, which is that fun video game element of it. The esports sides of it is really fun, that boxing element of it, but it's overwhelming. And I love that the story mode felt like a video game. You do video game things.
Yeah.
It's aware that it is a video game and it's asking you to do ridiculous things.
It is a step up from what they've done before, and I can understand how, if you are a player who knows everything and you've played the last X number of games and the various versions of them, that you might be upset that a certain thing is locked behind something in this, like a costume or outfit that you love is locked behind story mode. I can understand that because, like, I just want to play. But this is a fantastic way to get people into it and to get a new audience, and that is what long-running franchises need, is some way to unlock new people and get them interested. And I can safely say that the minute I saw there was a story mode, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna make such a goofy character. I can't wait to do that. It's gonna be such a goofy time. And I thought to myself, I'll give it a few hours. But playing the whole thing really made me just appreciate what they had done with this game.
They do so much. I can't believe they put the time and effort. I keep thinking about other games that we've played that were poor in its execution. Like, whenever I think about Wanted Dead, the game itself wasn't good. What is Street Fighter? Me and you versing each other and stuff, that is already there. And then on top of that, there's a bigger mode of a story mode on top of it, with really fun interactions. The way that you play in those worlds, the light RPG elements of it. You're absolutely right. Street Fighter 4 got people back into wanting to play Street Fighter again. It added those fun mechanics. 5 lost everybody. Everyone, the gates are open. Come on back. Street Fighter 6 is open for business. Please come down. We got some fun things to show you.
And I will say, it's not without critiques. I have plenty of critiques of this.
Great.
The story mode itself, while fun, is a bare bones story.
Bare bones. Yeah. Is there any, I mean, do you want to go through the beats of it? You know what I mean?
Well, we definitely can.
Okay.
I think that the RPG mechanics of it are hurtful to what the game actually is.
Okay.
Because there's moments where I'm like, I'm trying to learn this game, but it clearly wants me to use heals, but I can't do that in a normal match.
Sure.
You know what I
okay,
mean?
yeah.
And then the difficulty curve is extraordinary. There are moments where I message you like, bro, when you hit level 40, it's just, they throw some of the most difficult fights where dudes do 15 times your damage. They want you to use power-ups. They want you to use health. They want you, and I fought that to my detriment.
Sure.
Where there's, I'm sure, countless hours of me being just the saltiest boy who ever lived because I couldn't fathom, oh, I need to heal. I would just die. But because I did so well early in the game, I had so many continues saved up
Same here.
that I was like, why heal when I could just die, rejoin the fight at full life? I don't know. I definitely at a certain point was not playing the way it was intended because, again, of those RPG ideas that I was like, no, this is Street Fighter. You can't use
Jesse,
a power-up in combat.
You gotta play this game like you are a 9th grader who's never tried booze. You gotta Red Bull and sugar your way through those bosses. You buzz it, pound it, move on to the next one.
That is true.
I'm a big fan of fighting games. I've liked them for a long time. My bread and butter was those heyday Dreamcast games. There was no story mode in those games. You had to make your own story mode in your head, and you would do the things to unlock Shinakuma or like God Rugal, right? Really hard bosses. So when this game had those type of elements, it felt like a wonderful throwback. I love the fact that I could use healing items. I love the fact that I could treat this like an RPG because if you play this game, especially those harder bosses like a Street Fighter, you're just gonna put more quarters into that machine, Jesse, because boy, does it ramp up fast.
My quarters were made of salt. Pillars of salt.
Tears and salt.
I became a whole biblical pillar of salt. I was cast out. It was rough for me at the end there, but it doesn't take away from what it is. Just because I thought the difficulty spike was absolutely insane does not take away from the fact that I enjoyed this so much.
Well, that's when you get into those cheap tactics, baby. That's when you walk up. I mean, there's multiple bosses I just beat with like medium kick.
I would do a lot of E-Honda slap them in the faces.
Oh, yeah.
Put them in the corner and just beat them down.
Brah, brah, brah.
There'd be times where I would find an ability where a great example is some of the NPC characters would do only blocks.
Yes.
And it would drive me crazy. So eventually I just got Manon's grab ability that would spin them. And yeah, I would just do that to them.
In the character like breakdown of the game, the way that they give you moves, they give you that command grab at like a perfect time. It's the best. Command grabs are so powerful. It's like all the benefit of a grab, right? But it's doing so much more damage. That was a permanent staple of my moves. As soon as I got a Hadouken, that was a permanent staple of my moves. And then all those Luke moves. I love that. I love that charge punch. I love that air punch. All that stuff was fun.
Going back to Luke, I think he was a solid starter because his abilities clicked with me as well.
Yeah.
And everything about his moveset, I was like, yeah, okay, I get this. The problem is then when I switched up to Chun-Li, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't understand this at all. And I had to like reset, and I kept trying to do that. And I would switch up to people. Like for a while, it was Blanca, and then for a while, I think it was Ken, and then for a while, I was E-Honda, and then I was Cammy for a long time. I loved Cammy. It was great. But of course, in the end, found myself in a back alley in the middle of the night talking to the love of my life, Juri.
Oh yeah, you did the side missions.
I did the
she's,
side missions.
She's locked later on in the game.
Yeah, and then I spent all of my gift currency on her, and I ended up taking photos.
Yeah, you did.
And I ended up getting her outfits. And
she's a murderer, FYI, okay? She's a bad person.
But she does send me a lot of text messages like, how are you doing? What's going on? What are you up to? And if I respond, she's like, shut up, I hate you. And I'm like, yeah, you do.
I befriended Ryu. He texts like your father. He ends every message with Ryu. Like he goes, okay, have a great day, Jesse, Ryu. And then you have options to be like, you don't have to say that, bro. Or like, it's okay, you're learning a cell phone. And then I said, it's okay, you're learning a cell phone. He's like, thanks, it's really difficult. Ryu. Super great stuff. And that's also really part of the charm of the game. How do you want to build your custom fighter? If you want, like you find that teacher, like, great, I want to be all Zangief now. Great. did not do Zangief. That seemed like way too hard town.
Speaking of Zangief, I loved his cutscene.
Yes.
Where he's just like the best gym buddy you could ever have. In fact, all the cutscenes in this game, flawless, perfect, every single one.
They were so great. And now in hindsight, when looking back at the promotional trailers for this game, I can see where they got moments from this. It's so fun. So many times in these games, listen, there's always going to be a winner and a loser. They do such a great job of introducing all of these Street Fighters from around the world and making them all feel fun and unique and important. And even though one person wins and loses, they don't shit on any of the characters. You know what I mean? They're all high status in their world.
Well, the big heroes of Street Fighter, they don't have a win or lose. Even if you beat them in a fight, they're just like, huh, good job. I guess if you think that's good, and you're like, wait a minute, I just beat you. What do you mean?
That's a Guile answer. Guile's like, great, good job. Now go swab those decks, soldier. You're like, okay, I beat you. Say something nice.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because they're still the best and you're learning from them. They're your master. And I love the idea of not only interacting with them in cutscene form, but then learning from them and raising their, I guess, respect for you, Bar?
I don't know. I gave a lot of heat pads to Chun-Li, or whatever that means.
And experiencing that, I thought, was just one of the most fun things they could do because you could find the one that you like, not just for the moveset, but just because you like the character and go all in on them and hope that maybe one day angry Spider-Woman beats the crap out of you.
Maybe
if I'm lucky.
There are lots of things in the game that I like. Jesse, I was a fashionista. I love the outfits. I like going to a place. I like finding that man. I like buying the outfits, putting them on, sporting them out, switching and changing. I loved it. It was so fun. And again, it's that fun flavor of this game. There's a hip-hop flavor to this game, and the clothes just go along with it so nicely.
I, too, enjoyed the process of buying the clothes, but I unfortunately made a big boy, and most of my outfits did not fit in ways that video game mechanics were accustomed to. So when you get the like Blanca doll, like giant costume, the outfit was too big for my arms to show. So it looked like a T-Rex kind of thing. So in the end, I just was a man in a pink tank top with short shorts and Timberlands, and I just went around and like beat the crap out of people looking great. And I have to ask, my character was me.
Oh, yes.
Who were you?
Robot Santa. My character.
Why were you Robot Santa?
My character would have someday it is an artificial humanoid named Robot Santa. Someday he will push Tim Allen off of a roof and get the powers. But until that time, this is his stories on the streets. I basically made a character from Cyberpunk. Like, he almost could be a Cyberpunk character, like 1-to-1.
It makes sense why you have no value for human life and punch grandmas in the back of the head.
No problem whatsoever.
Right.
I'm here to judge all the good boys and girls, regardless of their crimes, and you will get presents and punches accordingly.
I just fought people because I was searching for strength, bro.
Yeah.
I was looking for strength. I'm not sure what that means exactly. I still don't know, but I was looking for it.
Okay, I was not looking for strength. I was looking for rings and pipes. I was looking for costumes. I was looking for flight tickets. You would walk around and just judge people, right? You would be like, what do you got? What do you got?
That is absolutely true. At a certain point, you're just like, okay, what do they have on them? I got to do what to get that? Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that.
It's so crazy. You start judging fights like, okay, what can I do? Like, I could do 2 things against this guy, get 3 of these things. You would get jumped so much at nighttime that I feel like eventually you're just like, not just heavy punch my way through this conflict to the next one.
Yeah, the minute I realized that you could attack random people on the street, not just challenge them, but just attack them.
Spinning bird kick them in the head.
Oh, yeah, and force them into combat. What a joy. What a true joy that was. Everyone.
Could you have like Street Fighter World Mode that's just a better storyline? Because I liked using the moves outside of battle. Like I almost saw that game where it's like, yeah, I got to get the sumo headbutt so I can do this thing to become the ultimate fighter.
I think they shouldn't waste their resources. I think what they gave us is exactly what it should have been. And if they do any sort of DLC where they continue the story, I think it's fine. I think if they if new characters get added and then they add story bits from those new characters to the story mode, great, fun. I think that's kind of the point of what they were trying to do, but I don't know that we need a bigger story mode. This did what it was supposed to do, and I would rather them focus on making, say, Street Fighter 7 a good Street Fighter 6 follow-up rather than focus on a huge story and then end up being like Street Fighter 5.
Totally heard. And I know what you're saying is truth because all of the like story characters, like none of them I wanted to be characters in Street Fighter. Your main bad guy, Boosh,
You mean mean your rival Bosch?
Yeah, like a Pokemon game. The bad
Yeah.
guy, Bosch.
He's no bad guy. He's just misunderstood, bro.
Bosch was the only character at his final zenith, like an Akuma Luke character almost.
Yeah.
That was the only one I was like, oh, maybe there's some legs here. But everybody else, it was like, okay, I get it. You're not going to make the main roster. You're not an important Street Fighter.
Yeah, there was the thing that I thought was great about that. There were a lot of characters who showed up in this who were, like you said, not ready for prime time. But there were characters from past games that showed up as well, and characters from other games that showed up. In fact, other games showed up in this game. You could play other games in this. It was wild.
I love the idea that in this universe, the video game Final Fight is actually a documentary series of the real life adventures of Mike Hager and how he cleaned up this town.
Well, let's talk about this because
Okay.
I think we should just. There isn't much story to talk about, to be honest.
More than you think, Jesse.
But the setup is you are in good old Final Fight City.
Yeah, you're Metro City, USA.
Look, I know it says it's the East Coast of the US, but it is giving me strong Canada vibes.
An American soldier is clearly doing operations there. I feel like it's America.
I agree with you, but also it's Canada. Like, I don't care what anyone says. It's Toronto. If anyone...
I hear you. It does look a lot like Toronto.
It's Toronto.
That's true. Yeah, where in America do you have that great of like a fun like subway system? Like you go up to that nice park area. That's not America.
Yeah. However, I did love the Times Square that they had. I liked how, like normal Times Square, they have that sort of monument in the ground.
Yeah.
This one was a list of all the games from the beginning to now, and I loved that. I thought that was very cute.
The world was so fun, and it's funny that there wasn't more Easter eggs because you could just populate it with anything. The whole thing, it was so fun to just be there. They got those vibes. Even though Metro City is supposed to be a big little city, it has all the things. It's got the weird, shady construction area. It's got a nice part of town. It's got the ghetto part of town. It's got a little bit of everything.
It has everything. And you are a person who shows up in the city looking to find strength, and you're there because Metro City, everyone's looking to find strength because after the old Final Fight days and our old mayor, who's not mayor anymore, when Mike cleaned up the streets, people still wanted to fight because that's kind of the vibe, except now they do it because it's the thing to do instead of we got to fight the criminals. However, there's still street criminals who wear boxes on their heads or are robot Roombas for some reason. But that is the setting for this game. And then you travel around the world so that you can continue to find strength. And you go to meet the newest member of the cast, I guess.
Every game gets a new sort of main guy. This game just happens to be a Shoto character, and he's one of my favorite ones. He was very fun to play. You get to meet your old boy, Lukey Boy.
Yeah, and Luke is a man with the arms of Popeye.
He is a sailor. He does look like he is on the roids for sure. I also think he looks like Kristen Stewart. That face looks like Kristen Stewart.
What do you mean he looks like Kristen?
It's got a Kristen Stewart face. I'm telling you, if you were to put some long locks on that fella, he'd look like Kristen Stewart.
Okay, well, Kristen Stewart then begins to train you, and I actually love the character creation bit because character creation is genius. You can make anything, but then you take a photo of your character and you look goofy, and the next scene is Luke picks up that photo on an ID, and it's so smooth. I loved that. And he welcomes you to his gym. I guess he's a paramilitary guy who's, I don't know why you're training there, but whatever.
I need to know the moves to take down an illicit government, Jesse.
I guess, but before you can really master your moves, you're attacked by Bosch, who's like, why are we waiting here, boss? I'm trying to learn how to gain strength. And so Luke sends you and Bosch out into the world together as partners to learn and train. And for about 3 missions you do, and then Bosch is like, I can't do this anymore.
That's his anime voice. That's exactly what he sounds like.
He's like, I've got to go find my own way. And meanwhile, your character's like, bro, I thought we were friends.
Yeah. Sadly enough, I felt like my character had so much to say and just was always held back. He was always the strong silent
guy. Always, except for maybe 3 times during the game, always looked like he was about to cry. Every scene, he was like, why are you doing this?
It was obviously I was a robot Santa Claus, so I had a lot of lines in my face. I had a lot of years. I could feel Bosch becoming a bad boy, and it made me upset.
You were crinkling like, I don't know, some type of aluminum foil.
Well, his name is Chris Crinkling, so that makes sense. That's
all right, hell yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay. So, yeah, JC and Chris Crinkling went out. And at that point, you are then literally just sent around to go discover if there's another master out there for you or someone who can train you to find strength. And you just bounce between all the main Street Fighter characters, learn their moves, and the more you use them in combat, the more moves you learn. And so they don't just throw them all on you. They give you 2 to start, and then maybe you gain a special, and then maybe you gain some more moves, and then maybe you gain this other thing, and then, oh, look, they have a new outfit. No, look, you got this new thing. And it just keeps going and going and going. And the more you use them, the more that fits your style, the more you're rewarded for that. And it's great. And then there's a kind of plot where Bosch and you keep running into each other, and then he gets kidnapped by Juri, and the next time you see him, he is a devil man with a box on his head.
Well, Jesse, I hate to say it, but I feel that maybe M. Bison's organization is still alive in the world.
Are you telling me Shadaloo is still around? I don't know.
I think
Are
Shadaloo
you?
might
What?
still be around, and I think it might have something to do with that Sinclair organization. Or who's making the robot?
It's just straight up InGen from Jurassic Park, roughly the same kind of stuff. And then there's a tournament that is literally run by Shadaloo, but no one wants to say anything.
Nobody wants to say anything.
And then M. Bison's accountant, JP, is like, I am also here.
Yo, you
Gandalf.
show me any fighting game with the dude with the staff. That guy's going to be dope. It's going to do something degenerate to you.
You learn that one of the characters you meet early on in the game, because you go to different tournaments, you learn to fight, you do this stuff, and you meet 2 characters. One dude's just like a big, kind of tough-looking guy. And then next to him is the most badass woman who ever lived on planet Earth.
The gray hair lady with the like adult rogue, yeah.
Every single character in that game is smoking hot, but she was the hottest. I don't give a damn. I was like, ew, whoo, this lady. And so you discover that they are an underground organization of resistance fighters, but basically terrorists, and they're going to take out Shadaloo. They're going to go and blow up the tournament, and that's going to be their thing. They're like big, grand, like, we got you, Shadaloo. So they put a bomb in the belt.
Yeah, JP knows that you're doing it too.
Well,
He
that's the
catches
thing.
you.
That's the problem, is you go there because you learn that Bosch, who has been mind-controlled or some nonsense, knows that he's been hurt. And so in order to blow himself up and save the day, he's going to place a bomb in the belt, and then when he wins the tournament, blow himself up.
He makes the trigger the nipple in the middle of the belt as well. Like, okay, let me click this thing.
So you go there to stop him. You find the belt. You don't say it,
Yeah.
but you almost point to, that's a bomb.
Yeah.
So JP knows it's a bomb. There's a crazy setup at the end where he's going to have Bosch blow up his own sister. You manage to step in. Bosch blows himself up, but not the building. And then you have a dope-ass fight with JP, and nothing happens.
It's not dope. It's hard. You have to stop. Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull, and then you lose the
True.
round. I believe my footage will show. I fought him a bunch of times, lost a bunch of times, hard quit the game, and then went back in and used better allocation of my resources.
That is true. I left out the part that the minute you get to the area that's Shadow Louie, it has a difficulty spike of about 1,200%.
That's my favorite drinking song. Shadow Louie, it's my favorite one. It's
It's a good one.
It's really
It's a
good,
one.
yeah.
And the biggest problem is at that point it becomes full-on RPG. Up until then, the mission or the challenge says, use this item or do this thing. You don't have to do it. Now you have to, and it's a shock. It was a shock to my system to the point where I had to, like you said, I had to stop, and it was on the run-up to the tournament, that path you take up to the tournament.
Yeah.
Dudes beat the shit out of me. And then the first round of the tournament, I got crushed and was like, nah. Had to stop. I raged. Some dude on the internet sent this message to me like, it's interesting to see the real you, Jesse, and how salty you are. And I was like, my man, this is why I don't play competitive games. I'm
Right.
a salt pillar.
And people need to realize that. You suck at Street Fighter.
Yeah.
We all suck at Street Fighter.
Yeah.
There is a reason why this is an esport, because people are able to play this at the highest level.
Yeah.
Embrace the suck. You're never going to be as good as that. Now, you can try, you can get to that level, but just know that the game is very difficult at that level.
Yeah, and it punished you for small mistakes and things. Here's the thing, just like it would in real life.
Right.
If you were playing against a professional player and you screw up, they're going to punish you and destroy you. And in my mind, I was like, this is such a high difficulty spike. So I was like, maybe I should go level up and get higher level. And I did. And it still was hard. And the whole point is it's supposed to be hard. And you're at this RPG thing where you're still, I guess the point of the ending of this whole game is, even though you beat JP, the lesson is nothing changed. You accomplished nothing because you're still supposed to be finding strength. You didn't do anything magical. Bosch blew himself up. You just fought JP, and then JP's like, you suck, bro, even though you beat me. And then you get a call back in the city, and it's like, well, looks like you're still gonna have to find strength, and your character's like, I'll do it. And that's it. There's no ending. The point is you now, okay, you beat this, go play people online.
Yeah, that is the point of Street Fighter. Just like Ryu are bettering yourself and getting better. You shouldn't treat your Street Fighter records as wins and losses. You should walk away from your sessions just, what did I learn today? And that is how you will become a better player. And I like that they are trying to distill that in whatever way within the philosophy of the game. What does it mean to be strong? Are you now good at Street Fighter because you beat this mode?
Nah.
But you're better at Street Fighter.
Yes.
You've definitely improved. You've strengthened your appreciation of it.
I think you blew my mind a little, the idea that I am not good at Street Fighter, and the lesson I learned, the reason why it was so hard, the lesson I took away from that was, oh, this is what losing feels like. I better get used to losing.
You're gonna run up against straight up killers online. We're not even talking about one-touch death combos, which this game has. The way that they allocated the different meters, you always have super meter to kind of finish off those big moves, and then you get to use your EX meter where you can either go for offense or you can go for defense. And they added a great armor breaking move in the, is it your drive attack?
Yeah,
with
your
the heavy
drives.
Buttons.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they have 6 buttons, and look how much they are able to get out of these 6 buttons. Street Fighter gets a different flavor at every year. I'm enjoying the Street Fighter 6 flavor a lot. When I watch these tournaments, now I kind of know what's going on because I know all the mechanics.
And they did a great job of stylizing each ability and giving each character different color schemes.
Yes.
And using that in their attacks and taking things they learned from the past and making it visually not just appealing, but like, oh, I see this ability is that, and that's that. So you aren't confused about what just happened to you. You know what you just got hit with. And if you screw up, oh, now I have no color left in me. Like,
yeah.
You know that you screwed up.
There are so many wonderful visual and also audio cues. The game sounds great. There's such a, you pick up all of these things. And there are lots of video games that you can play passively. Watch any gaming direct right now, and I'm sure there's a number of cozy farm simulators out there. Street Fighter demands your attention. Now, not early on, you can get those continues, but when the game starts getting good, no, brah, you need to plug into what's going on, or you're gonna lose. You can't just do unsafe moves.
And it challenges you in ways you won't expect. A great
Right.
example is the inclusion of, and admittedly hated any single robot in this entire game. They drove me crazy, but they made me learn. So for example, there were ones that flew and they would shoot missiles at you. And there are only some abilities or some moves that can hit them.
Jumping heavy kick.
And some characters have better combos or things you can do to them or better move sets that work on those things. And then there's the Roomba guys.
Yeah.
And now you're doing the lows. And you got to get down on the ground. But there are also some characters that have move sets that their normal ass moves hit low.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, okay, and you're learning. And then they're like, oh, have you fought a fridge? And now you're fighting fridges where they literally block all your moves until they open. So now you have to do timing. But oh, spoiler, the minute they open, they're shooting shit at you.
So you're saying you have to wait for an opening in your opponent's defense?
How crazy is that?
Shinku Token through all of those guys. I did Ryu's level 1 on all of those fridges and watch them go bye-bye town.
I would just spin at them. I'd take Cammy's like...
Yeah, go right through them, yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you weren't just trying to spam it, you would hit them, and you would hit nothing, and then they just open and hit you in the face and knock you back.
The game is training you within its mechanics to get better at what's coming at you.
And Alice and her bros will teach you how to sit there and take the hits, or how to sit there and, hold back and be like, nah, okay. And they'll let you know how to deal with stuff like that if you do the side quests. I forgot the simplest of things, the forward dash.
Yep.
Every character has it. You just move really quickly to the opponent. I hadn't used that once until I was told, oh, this is a thing in this game. But I knew it was there to the point where I was like, I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I haven't used this at all. And it's not even a move. It's literally forward.
I didn't know that reversal meant you hit somebody with an attack on the very moment you can do it. Like a wake up DP, if it says reversal, that's the first frame. I've been playing Street Fighter my whole fucking life. I didn't know that until this game because it slowly showed me it's defining the terms for you in the story mode.
Many games are like that, where I can play it and I can have a good time, but the minute you get to the point where it's like, okay, we're min-maxing, we're doing this, or there's a certain build that works, or if you want to play this character at this level of proficiency, or you want to be like one of the best, you got to do this, or you got to learn this, or you got to figure this out. And Street Fighter is one of those games. Many games are like that. I think everyone watching right now knows games like that, where they went to go play to have fun, and then at a certain point, it became competitive to a level that they couldn't keep up with, and it killed the fun for them.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things where they were like, okay, we can't teach people all that stuff and expect them to care because they don't already. So how do we educate people on the things they need to learn in a way that's going to make it fun? So you're sitting there hitting boxes. You're sitting there beating up cars. You're sitting there making pizzas. You're doing all these things that teach you the core mechanics of the game in a way that is just so subversive that by the end you're like, did I learn something here? What the hell? Brilliant. Brilliant.
They kind of Mr. Miyagi you in the game. You do a bunch of chores, and in doing so, you learn how to play Street Fighter in doing that.
Yeah, and even the ones where there was the bottle slicing one.
Yeah.
Sucked at it, sucked at it, sucked at it.
Guess what, Jesse? That's how you do a charge move.
Yeah, no, you're totally right.
Yeah.
And they would teach you the different backs and forwards and downs. And the pizza one is straight up just like doing combos. And it is brilliant game design.
It's nice to know that they are able to find new ways of getting old information across.
Yes, yes. And I don't know what the online consensus is, but there are two modes to this. There's normal-ass Street Fighter mode where you're learning the moves. And then there's the mode that's designed just to be simpler and easier. And I'm sure people are like, babies for a Street Fighter. I'm gonna let you know, that's brilliant. I think that is such a good gateway to get people into this world, to teach them, look, you're welcome here. Come play. You don't have to be perfect immediately. We're going to teach you all those actual combos and different sort of key movements with your controller in the game. And if you're comfortable, switch to that. But if you're not yet, we got you. Just hold one of the triggers and press either square or triangle, and you'll do a 3-move combo, and it'll look amazing.
Hook them while they're young, Jesse.
Yeah.
And if, like, let's say you're playing this and you don't have anybody in your life. Mom and dad don't know what Street Fighter is. Nobody knows what Street Fighter is. How are you supposed to know what a Hadouken is? So the game shows it. Oh, it's real easy. I just do this over command. Okay, now I visually knows what it looks like. So now I go into classic controls. Ooh, quarter circle forward. What does that look like? I'll go play the pizza game and figure it out. Okay, now I'm executing it. It's easier on one side of the controller, maybe not the other, but I know what the move is supposed to look like. Now I know what I'm building towards. Instead of, you know, in the past, old Mortal Kombat games, you would just hit the controls until something happened. You're like, oh, I got an ice ball.
Button mash like crazy. Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. This game actively teaches you not to button mash.
Yes, and what I think is also brilliant is because you can pool the abilities you like best and put them on your character, and you can make the character the way you want. When you do that, you're only able to put abilities where the first move goes.
Right.
So some moves start with the back first. And that's interesting too, because then it teaches people you can't just keep moving forward at someone and expect to do that. Don't move.
For people that are already comfortable with this game, this isn't for you. This is to get new people into the game.
Yeah.
And if someone becomes the best modern player in the world, amazing. I can't believe you were able to play at that high level of efficiency. Like, that would be an amazing feat. Now, we don't see that though, and we see the pros playing Street Fighter the way that it's always been played. But you're absolutely right. The jacuzzi is warm. Everybody get in the jacuzzi. In playing classic controls, I really learned the normals of Luke. I don't even know if I've played Luke. I never even unlocked his, like, he's got a cartwheel kick or something like that. But I love that medium poke, and I love that medium punch poke. And I knew all of those things. And when I fought the robots, I knew jumping heavy would work for this one. Jumping kick will work for this one. I have to sweep here. And the game teaches you what's the difference between high, mid, and low.
Yeah, I like that. I just had to learn how to do all of that with Yuri's set because I wanted her to love me so bad.
Sure, I know, and that's a tough. She's a weird one. She's got her normals are a little weird, right?
Everything about her is a little weird.
Yeah.
And love it. Break me, mommy.
She's the Rhea Ripley of the Street Fighter universe.
Just destroy me.
You should get you with that Quentin Tarantino feat?
I mean, no, that's not really it for me. The feet are like whatever.
Okay.
I'm more about the like, oh, she could like kill me.
Yeah, she is
Awesome.
You know, funny is Cammy used to be like the bad one. Now she's a good girl. They are the yin yang to each other. Like literally, she's all yin
I
and
learned
yang.
that like, Sea Viper is like her bestie. And that's why they have the same outfit in 5 a little bit.
Yo, I want Sea Viper in this game. This game has the mechanics are so open and the characters feel so fluid in what you can do. I would love a Sea Viper in this game.
Who is your favorite new character?
Who are my favorite new characters? I mean, eventually, right back in the day, it was Cammy and DJ, right? Like they were eventually new characters.
I'm talking about this game. You can't talk about back in the day.
I really like Luke in this game. I feel like the new female characters, that Gladiator has got such huge reach on her.
I love her design because her hair is a helmet and it's just so cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I also like the MMA dancer girl where her moves don't like, oh, okay, you're a dancer girl, but boy, is the damage there. And
she's incredible.
Just so, and that crouching profile is so low, I can like see where it's at. I like them all.
Stand out for me, absolutely Kimberly.
What a design.
I don't love her abilities, like to do them.
Sure.
To watch them is a treat. It's just so cool looking. What an incredible character design. What a great move set to watch. Terrible at playing it, but fascinating to watch. I love everything about it.
The beats coming off the headphones, the fluidity of it, all the like spray paint. Funny enough though, in my playthrough, Down Punch was that bomb can of hers, and that was one of my permanent moves because it didn't block anything else.
Yeah, I loved all of that, and I was blown away just by how fun it was to be introduced to these new characters in a way that stuck with how goofy the rest of the game was.
It's okay for them to be individually goofy and still do cool shit. Except, why can't Jamie just be a drunken boxer? Why are we doing shots of Gatorade? The game is rated T.
I don't know.
Also, if we're talking about sneaky, dirty stuff in the game, Jesse, that Chinese bunhead thing.
Vagina. That's a vagina. Yeah, I had the same thought. It's
we
a vagina.
were running past it, and for a long time I didn't know, but then you unlock it, I was like, that's a vagina on my head.
The minute you're sitting there and you're just eating buns and just, I was like, hold on, what the hell is that? What is, and that little girl's just like, it's my favorite thing. I'm like, what is this? What is this? Oh yeah, it's a vagina.
Of all characters that could be like maybe brought up to the main roster, I would love a Chun-Li Jr. that has that Chun-Li flavor, but a little bit different.
You mean Chu-Li, the girl who would stand on the street corner and you'd beat the shit out of her all the time?
The one with the big headphones. She's a hacker girl.
Oh, not her. I thought you meant the girl in the corner who, I know who you're talking about.
Oh, no.
The one fake, the old lady who's like, I'm Chu-Li. There's a lot of great characters in this game, for sure. But then there's like FooTube.
Yeah.
And
ham-fisted in there. Triggers
oh my God. The guy who like crafts all your stuff in the yellow outfit.
Yeah.
I felt bad because every time he crafted me something, I beat the shit out of him. Be like, hey, thanks for that awesome item. And I'd punch him in the face. It's a wild game that, yeah, there's a story, but the story doesn't matter.
Not really. It's fun going to all those places. Poor Blanca. That guy's a sad guy. I don't understand what's going on there. Is he a genetic freak or what?
But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal.
I like that he dresses up in his own costume to lure tourists to the rainforest to save the rainforest. It's a bit that I love. People are like, I gotta go see Blanca. And there's like a big stuffed version of him, but it's also just him. It's great.
They allow for the Street Fighters to be silly, but Blanca will still kick your ass.
Yeah.
Like, there's a fun, like, tongue-in-cheek, but they're all pretty hardcore.
I mean, Lily's whole goof is that there's just an old man next to her who's like, hey,
yeah.
And you're like, yeah, all right, this is great. And the whole thing is like that. The whole game is just silly goof after silly goof. Ken works at a construction site.
He's on hard time. He owns that building. He owns Trump Tower. He owns Master Building down the block.
Yeah, he can't do anything. He's like, just hang out here at the construction site, right? E Honda sits there and owns both a, I guess, ramen noodle shop / ring out dojo.
Dance hall.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everything about it is goofy as hell. There's men running around the streets with swords that are like, we gotta clean up the streets. There's box head people. There's, if you want to take the subway, you beat the shit out of people on the subway.
Well,
that's a mission.
While there's peace in the city, I mean, we're not really talking about the underlining fights between the Mad Gears and the Crows. Now, which one did you go?
Oh, I was Mad Gear.
Mad Gear, baby.
Mad Gear, come on.
Respect, Knuckles.
Come on.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta go.
Yeah, I didn't do the other one, but that guy was crazy. He was so sad on the missions you got. He was like, I'm just sad. I'm not the boss anymore.
No way, you gotta go Mad Gear. Especially because when you do the quest for them at the end, basically at the end of the game, you have to pick a team to go fight with you in order to get into the Shadowloot tournament. And you go around and you get to choose between 2 different characters each time to fill out your team. Aside from the girl who's like the goon of the main guy,
sure,
I went for the oldest people the entire. I was like, give me these old farts. And the old farts did great. And she got her ass beat. And I was like, come on, lady.
The second in command of the Mad Gears is straight out of 1977 Warrior, right?
Yes, yeah.
She's just like, come out and play.
Everything in this game is either some weird custom character they made or just people from Final Fight.
I will say that while I think that there's more here than meets the eye, it made me want them to do a modern Final Fight. I felt like there was a lot of like fun city design stuff and like fun conversations. I wanted more out of these characters. I was ready to see them shine in a bigger way.
Yeah, I guess that's not what this game is though, right?
It's not that. No, it's not.
It's just a goof wrapped around education.
Yeah.
It's meant to be funny and make you laugh and enjoy learning, which is a very difficult task that I think they nailed, and that's phenomenal.
There's enough bells and whistles to make you want to go to the next teacher, to unlock the new move, to get a new aerial attack, to like build out that roster, but it's also not overwhelming enough to scare you away from it.
Right.
And it's not till this latter half, right? Once you get to India, whatever, right? Once you start getting that stuff, that's when things start ramping up.
Yeah, and it's noticeable in a way that is jarring and shocking, and I think makes you want to go fight more and level up more. And in doing so, I got enough extra stuff that I could then go to my back alley and woo my spider lady and max her out and shit. And she was like, okay, thanks, loser. And then she'd text me and be like, I think you're cool. And I'm like, "Ah!"
Now, did you unlock her level 3? Did you have her what was your moves for the final boss?
Most of my moves were her moves for the final boss. I think I always kept Cammy's closer, the one where she like spins at you.
Yeah.
But I don't quite remember, but I know that I ditched everything I learned before just to like do backflips and kicks. And then hilariously, people watching me play kept asking why I would do Chun-Li's like peace symbol thing at the end. And I was like, no. That's Yuri mocking her, but it doesn't come across because it's just my character earnestly doing it. And so I was like, okay, well, cool. And so I'm in my hot pants, my short shorts, like, peace, everybody. It's hilarious.
Luke's level 3 goes, it's a grab. It goes through blocks. It's great. I loved it.
It's amazing.
Final boss, you would do level 3 and then waste some EX meter and then you'd eat the golden balls, whatever the elixir balls were to get full meters back and then hit him again. JP is one of they turned him up to 11. I think he's like 68 or something. He's super hard.
The hardest fight I had was against Bosch on like Super Killer Bosch. When you fight him and he's purple, I have to beat him. I have to beat this guy. So I kept dumping all these items and stuff on him.
Didn't change the story.
Literally couldn't beat him. At one point, he just destroyed me, even though I was dumping so much stuff in. And I was like, oh man, I lost. And then the story kept going. I was like, oh, you were supposed to lose that?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I wasted so much.
I thought the exact same thing when I lost to Bosch. I was like, I have to do it again. I gotta quiet. I gotta put the headphones on. I have to get in the zone.
Yeah.
The first tournament when you go to the Indian tournament that gets you to the bigger tournament in the slums, that was the tournament that I had my big freak out and had
exact same tournament.
I turned it off and then I was like, okay, new clothes, the permanent power-ups. I redid my skill tree.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I really loved wearing all the clothes, but by the end of the game, I just needed a little bit more juice in the cannon.
Yeah, no, I had the exact same problem. I got hit in that tournament and I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. It felt like every attack was doing a third of my life.
Yes.
I was like, why am I getting beat so bad? And then everyone's like, oh, you got to go and upgrade your gear. And I was like, I did upgrade. My gear is maxed out. And they're like, oh, well, that's because you don't have the newest best gear. And I was like, okay, so I have to use the transmog system or whatever they have in there where you can wear whatever you want, but you just have to make it look like that.
Yes.
I was like, okay. So I went and found all this great purple gear. And so I'm upping that all the way. And I go back. It's easier.
Yeah.
But it's still hard. I'm like, okay.
That's exactly what I ran into. It's so funny that the story mode brings you to a spot where it's like, great, now you're going to play Street Fighter. You're like, what? I was enjoying running around and it's
exactly.
Make my Barbie doll better. No. The game's like, no, it's Street Fighter time.
And maybe that's the genius of it, is it hypes you up and shows you can win and then beats you down like, nah, bro. No, it's not about winning.
It's not about winning.
You got to learn to lose. And the fact that we both got to the same point and then quit, I walked away for a day. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I came back and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win. And I think that's the underlying message of the game is like, okay, you're gonna get beat up. So now what are you gonna do?
Listen, you wouldn't go run a race if you had worked all day on your feet, right? Street Fighter's a little bit like that. You kind of got to take breaks. You got to play it when you're in the zone and you're in the mood and you can focus. But if you get sloppy, those killers online are going to get you. Because they'll get you every time. They'll get you every time.
And that's it, FoodTube. That's Street Fighter.
Thanks for checking out us on the FoodTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. Send it around from uptown to downtown, back to Chinatown. You box heads, give us a like out there, because we're FoodTube content creators.
I don't want to be a FoodTuber.
You already are a FoodTuber, my good sir. This is a FoodTube world we're living in right now.
I'll spam you with 800 text messages later tonight.
Thank you very much. No problem. Thank you for sending me these text messages, Michael. Yeah, that's how I respond to them, just like Ryu.
The good news is, in the end, it was for nothing. It didn't even matter.
What is strength?
I don't know. I still don't know. We didn't find the answer.
We didn't find the answer, but just like the game says, in the end, it doesn't matter. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And I've got places to go. You see those seagulls in that ocean breeze? That's where I'm off to.
Wait, what?
But Jesse, if I ever see you out there in the streets, we're taking it to the treats, because I'm gonna battle you.
We're taking to the treats?
Shut up and give me your arm.